Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
You've been listening to the Golden State Warriors Audio Network, presented by United Airlines.
This has been a presentation of Odyssey Sports. For even more coverage of your team, download the free Odyssey app and listen to your favorite stations, shows, and podcasts.
That's a wrap.
Yo, that's a wrap. It was an amazing experience. Hope everybody enjoyed it. Hope they got some laughs and good entertainment.
This is Warriors Wrap Up on 95.7 The Game.
124-121, one possession game. Highland in the backcourt. They trap him in the corner. He's going out, throws it away. Poole got it and scored. They're down one. They throw it ahead to Brown. He goes up and dunks it with 13 seconds. Game's not over. It's 126-123. And the Warriors will call a timeout with 13 seconds to go.
And the Warriors nearly pulled a rabbit out of the hat tonight. Nearly coming back in this one as we welcome you in to Warriors Wrap-Up here on 95.7 The Game. John Dickinson inside Chase Center. Nuggets win it 128-123. That the final score. But the Nuggets were up 121-111 by 10 points with 1:14 to go. And that layup that you hear there, the call on Tim Roy, 1 point game, quickly into a 3 point game as the Nuggets shuffled the ball down the field to Bruce Brown. But Klay Thompson got a tough look at a very, very long three that was a bad miss, and then Nikola Jokic hit a couple of free throws. But that would have been an all-time comeback had the Warriors been able to pull it off, down 10 with 1:14 to go in this one. But this game tonight, pretty simple, and the phone lines are open at 888-957-9570. You can give me a call or shoot me a text to react to this one. 888-957-9570. The Xfinity mobile text line is open. Same phone number. Warriors lost this game in the first half, and really in the first quarter when they gave up 40 points. And the Nuggets had 20 of those 40 in the first 5 minutes of the game tonight, but it was 40-34 Denver at the end of the first quarter. It was 70-52 Nuggets at the half, and the Warriors were down 20 in the third before showing some signs of life in the third quarter, wound up outscoring the Nuggets 36-28 in the third, and then 35-30 in the fourth, but the Nuggets seemingly had this one in check with about a minute left, as I mentioned, with the 10-point lead. But plain and simple tonight, as we react to this one, they lost it on defense. Just terrible defense, and terrible defense in the first half with the 40 points and then the 30 in the second half, 70 total allowed, then 30 more in the fourth quarter. The Warriors found some offensive life in that third quarter, but the defense still gave up 28. If your best defensive quarter of a ball game is 28, you're probably not going to win it, and the Dubs give up 128 to the Nuggets in this one, and not enough offense in the world, even for a team as potent as the Warriors, to overcome that. So yeah, lost on defense, lost in the first half, and there was really some ugly defense in particular in the first half that set a tone where the Nuggets were able to get real comfortable in this game and build a big lead, and then by the time the Warriors locked in and started their comeback, it proved to be too much. Poor bench play, another theme of this one. Warriors were kind of going back and forth. It felt like an open gym game in those first 5-6 minutes. And then Steve Kerr went to the bench. And tonight was not a great night for anybody not named Moses Moody that came off the Warriors bench. And it started with the first man in for the Warriors, which is Jordan Poole, a -20 in this one. So things started to turn when Steve Kerr went to the bench. Jermichael Green in, Kuminga and Wiseman playing together again. Dante DiVincenzo was out there, and it was just ugly for the entire unit, really, as far as that bench group went. Kuminga and Wiseman played together. They were a quick -10. You add Dante DiVincenzo into that mix along with Jermichael Green, and those four with Jordan Poole on the floor all basically minus 10, 11 at the time. I think Poole was a minus 9 at that point because he had been out there with the starters for an extra minute. So he had a little bit of an edge at that point. But yeah, tough stuff tonight from Green with that group that included Kuminga and Wiseman and DiVincenzo. It got so bad for Jonathan Kuminga that Steve Kerr went to Moses Moody. Kuminga benched in the second half, and Kerr, at least for now, kind of given up on the Kuminga, Wiseman, JaMychal Green front line, which really hasn't done anything in these first couple of games. And I know they played well in the preseason. I think Steve Kerr addressed that in his postgame press conference, which we will play for you here over the course of the next hour on 95.7 The Game. But it just, to me, that doesn't work. Like Kuminga at the 3 with JaMychal Green at the 4 and James Wiseman at the 5. I just don't think Kuminga right now is an effective 3, and definitely not an effective 3 with Wiseman and JaMychal Green as the 4-5. I said it going into the season. I said it after game 1. And I'm going to say it again here. I do not like that lineup. And really part of the downfall for the Warriors started with those 3 being on the floor. Jordan Poole, Dante DiVincenzo really didn't help matters much either. And the defense, which was already pretty porous in those first handful of minutes, it got worse when that group was on the floor, and that led to the 40 spot that the Nuggets were able to put up in that first quarter. So 888-957-9570. That is the phone number to participate in the program here on a Friday night where the Warriors lose to the Nuggets. Now 1-1 on the season are the Dubs, and the Nuggets bounce back after a tough loss in Utah to the Jazz in their opener, and they improve to 1-1 with a 2-game road trip to begin things. I think they're home for Oklahoma City tomorrow. The Warriors are going to have tomorrow to have a practice day, and then the Sacramento Kings are going to be in Chase Center on Sunday afternoon. The Kings are playing another home game tomorrow against the Clippers. So the Kings are going to be on the second of a back-to-back when the Warriors face them coming up on Sunday here at Chase. 888-957-9570, 415 on the Xfinity mobile text line. And right out of the chute, JD, why is Kerr playing JaMychal Green so much? 24 minutes, but only contributed 5 points. Kuminga only played 8 minutes. JaMychal Green's a better player right now than Jonathan Kuminga. That's as simple as that. He's a better player, and the combination, and I mentioned this again to go back to the post-game show on Tuesday, I'm okay with Kuminga and Wiseman together, but to me, if you want to play Kuminga and Wiseman together, then you need to play Moody, somebody that can shoot the ball and is more of a true wing. It almost has to be Kuminga at the 4, Wiseman at the 5 if you're going to play those two together. You can't insert another big in there and then put Kuminga at the 3 with those two and think that that's going to work. If you want to play JaMychal Green and Wiseman together, I understand that, but you got to have, to me, Moses Moody out there. That's what Steve Kerr went to in the second half. 415, tough night for Poole and Clay. Yeah, Jordan Poole, the Nuggets were locked in on him. It felt tonight to me, and Jordan Poole, rough night, minus 20, worst player on the floor in terms of plus-minus tonight. The worst plus-minus on the floor, minus 20 for Jordan Poole. 7 points, 2 of 5, knocked down a couple of threes. The thing, and look, Michael Malone is as savvy as they get as a head coach. To me, it looked like Jordan Poole had, I don't know, because of the contract or because of how much he kicked Denver's ass in the playoffs in the first round, going back to April and the 4-1 win for the Warriors over the Nuggets. He became a player that I think moved up the notch on the scouting report a little bit as far as Denver went, and as far as, you know, somebody that you really have to make a conscious effort to try and take out of his game. In essence, you know, Curry's going to kind of go off. You know, Klay Thompson has the potential to go off. You need to hold your own against Andrew Wiggins, and really the three-point shot is typically a great indicator of Wiggins' offensive prowess on a given night, and there's other ways he can impact the game. But to me, there was a conscious effort made by Michael Malone and the Nuggets in this one to put themselves in a position where they were trying to take Jordan Poole out of the game a little bit, and they were able to do that. 415 chiming in here as well. Denver Nuggets are a good team. And yeah, the Nuggets are a good team. Bit of a weird loss in the opener against Utah, but it wouldn't surprise me as they try and get Jamal Murray acclimated off a knee injury from 18 months ago. It wouldn't surprise me if it's a situation where this team gets it together, assuming Jamal Murray can get it together, talking about the Nuggets. And I wouldn't be surprised if come May the Nuggets are in the Western Conference Finals and maybe playing the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. I think they're that good. Mentioned it on Warriors Live before the game that I think they have a group of bench players now and role players that are a little better equipped and a better complement to the star players that they have, or the budding star players that they have. Jokic is a superstar, two-time MVP. Michael Porter Jr. Is somebody that I think they believe can be a star, but I think the pieces fit a little bit. Bruce Brown's a hell of a glue guy to have coming off the bench, and he had every big shot for the Nuggets at the rim and hitting threes and the like. I mean, he was a big-time contributor for the Nuggets tonight. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is another guy that I think really fits with the star players that they have. Bones Highland is energy off the bench. Jeff Green can play maybe a more limited role than he had to play a year ago. Now, I like the Nuggets team, and I like Aaron Gordon playing the 4 spot now instead of the 3, or playing Porter and Aaron Gordon together. I think that's something that you can get away with. So the Nuggets are a deep team, and I think a team that really complements each other very well, as they shuffled 8 players out from last year and 8 new players in, and then they're getting the 2 players that were their second and third best players in Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. back off an injury as they try and reacclimate them. So 888-957-9570. Definitely a hat tip to the Denver Nuggets kind of a night. This is a team that I think will be, at worst, a top 4 team in the Western Conference when all things are said and done, and maybe even a team that we're talking about the Warriors playing in May. So they do, I think, deserve a modicum of respect as we try and dissect what went wrong for the Warriors tonight, and which really was just a poor defensive effort in this one, and a game that was lost very much in the first half. Let's get out to Ricky. Ricky in Boston here up first tonight. Phone lines open, 888-957-9570. John Dickinson here on 95.7 The Game. What's going on, Ricky?
What's going on, man? Just kind of disappointing game tonight. 70 points by halftime. I called you the last time on, I think it was Tuesday, talk about Klay Thompson's minutes, how he's always in and out, and, trying to find a rhythm for him. It's hard, I know Steve Kerr is, he's playing it cautious with Klay's injury. I guess he has a calf injury. But, a player like Klay, man, especially like a rhythm player, he's a streaky shooter. He needs to be out there. He just can't go in and out. You know what I mean? It's just like you're asking too much for any NBA player, actually. I mean, I don't know if you saw the interview today. Klay, I saw the interview today with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson. Klay did an interview with them on YouTube, and he had a line there about that he confronted Steve Kerr when he was like, "Listen, Steve, I'm 11 for 10 and 3-pointers against the Lakers. You take me out when there was like a whole quarter play. I'm on fire. I'm breaking the record for 14.3-pointers, and there's still, time to go. You take me out. I scored 60 points, and there's still time." And Steve Kerr says, "Oh, I do that because of sportsmanship. I take you out." My question is, like, if that was Curry scoring, you think he'll take Curry out, or you just let him score and keep playing? You know what I mean? So I'm just like. Yeah. I don't know what's up. I never liked Steve Kerr's substitution. I never did. I think that's one of his flaws of Steve Kerr. But the way he's just, doing Klay right now, it's just like, it just keeps doing it from last season. And I know they won the championship last season. I just don't like it, man.
Well, thanks for the call. And look, they're trying to get him back into the fold and off of an injury and basically off of a slow ramp up here to begin the season. So they're doing it to help him. And I think what we are finding right now is that the Warriors are, and Klay Thompson does seem a little bit out of rhythm, even though he was 6 of 14 tonight and 16 points, and he hit 4 threes, hit a couple the other night, 6 of 13 the other night. So it really I wouldn't say terrible games by any stretch of the imagination. I think Klay's been fine. He just can't play the minutes that he's used to or work his way back into the flow yet to in the manner that he's used to and wants to. And I think that's maybe causing him at times to look a little bit awkward out on the floor, like he's trying to hunt shots to get himself into a rhythm rather than just taking the best shot and knowing he's going to get plenty of shots over the course of a night. As far as the question about Steph and Woody, like Steve Kerr has called off the dogs a lot over the years when the Warriors have had big leads as to not embarrass the opponent or go for records. That's just who he is, and I think it's commendable and respectable. I know at times people have been frustrated. There are a lot of Warrior fans over the years that have been frustrated with the fact that Curry's numbers could even be more historically great had Steve Kerr played him in some fourth quarters, even halves of fourth quarters, where the Warriors were blowing teams out, and he could continue to pad his stats on a night where he really was rolling, and that could in some ways raise him on the pantheon of all-time greats. I think he's doing pretty well on his own, by the way, without that help. But that's been everywhere in terms of the fans and what they're thinking about. But it's early for Klay. Couple more minutes tonight on the floor than the other night. He'll play a few more minutes in the game against Sacramento on Sunday in theory, and you keep going for there. The big picture for Klay Thompson is a hell of a lot more important than whether or not you beat the Nuggets on a Friday night in Game 2 when you played terrible defensively. 888-957-9570. West Oakland Sam is next here on 95.7 The Game. What's going on, Sam?
Hey, JD, you're one of my, JD, I want to give you your flowers. You're one of my all-time favorite, just 95.7 The Game analyst and everything you do from the Niners to the Warriors. And this is what I learned from you as not only being the analyst and somebody that's in the field, JD in the field. I know you like this Nuggets team. And I really appreciate this Nuggets team. And I know you, since I've been listening to you, I know you can appreciate Bones Highland. Bones Highland, I like that guy. I like Bones Highland. I'm a Warriors fan.
I do too, Sam.
I'm a Warriors fan. I'm a Warriors fan that likes to appreciate the opponent. So I know you like Bones Highland. Everything I've learned from you, from hearing you throughout the years on that, I like this Denver team. I like the opposition they present towards the Warriors. And if I'm right, I know you like Bones Highland, and I know you like his energy. Tell me I'm wrong. Please tell me I'm wrong.
Appreciate the call. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I like Bones Highland's game a lot. He's energy. He's unafraid. He's everything you would want in a backup point guard and somebody that could at times maybe be in a finishing lineup for you. Their pieces fit together. I mean, I said it a few minutes ago. Yeah, Jokic is maybe my favorite player in the NBA to watch. To be perfectly honest, I love a skilled big man that can impact the game in the ways that he can impact the game, especially on the offensive end, interior, down low, passing the basketball. He's just terrific. I mean, and so, yeah, I think that this Nuggets team is balanced enough to where the pieces just fit together. They were a cobbled together team last year. Like they didn't have their second and third best players and still won in the mid 40s to be a 6 seed. They had Jokic, and it was Monte Morris, and it was Aaron Gordon, and it was Bones Highland and Jeff Green. I mean, they didn't have Porter or Murray essentially for the whole season a year ago, and they still won in the mid to upper 40s. And were a 6 seed that the Warriors were never in danger of losing to, but the games themselves individually were close and close enough to maybe make the Warriors a little bit uncomfortable. Again, although I wouldn't say in danger whatsoever, But no, I got a lot of respect for the Nuggets. I got a lot of respect for Michael Malone as a tactician, as a head coach, as a bulldog, as a motivator. So yeah, I do like watching this Nuggets team, and I do think this could be the year. We got to see about Jamal Murray. He, right now, and he played his first game in a year and a half, so I don't want to come down on Jamal Murray, but he looked like he was out of place in the Nuggets fold the other night when they played Utah. He looked like he was maybe holding them back a little bit as he was trying to get comfortable. They didn't have him out there tonight, and they looked free and flowing and getting after it, at times on both ends. And look, they're going to be a better team if he can play, but this team is just built, I think, really well, and they are a team that I think the Warriors, shouldn't fear, because the Warriors shouldn't fear anyone. They're the defending NBA champions, and they got a bunch of future Hall of Famers on their roster, and if they play their A game, I think they are still the better team. But this is one of the teams, I think, in that next tier, or could be on the Warriors tier as an opponent as this season goes on. 888-957-9570. We'll go ahead and pause here, and we'll come back. We'll hear from the head coach of the Warriors, Steve Kerr, and we will continue to react to this one. We're 2 games in. So you watch the 2 games that the Warriors have played to this point. Tuesday, the win against the Lakers. You watch the game tonight, they lose to the Nuggets. The bench, really good in game 1 in terms of outscoring the Lakers bench and making an impact on the game. Tonight, terrible. Defensive intensity, not there tonight. The Lakers, a team that struggles to score in the opener, looks like they have the potential to be disastrous. 2 games in, you watch them both, and what do you come out thinking? Let's react to it. 888-957-9570. Warriors wrap up here on 95.7 The Game.
For 25 years, Buy Right Market in San Francisco has partnered with purveyors of deliciousness to bring you local food that adds a dash of unique to every meal and celebration. Hi friends, this is Jamie, Buy Right's head of product. And this season, whether you're planning an elaborate meal, watching the game, heading to a friend's, or cozying up for a night in, Buy Right will help you savor what matters most. Pre-order your holiday meals at buyrightmarket.com or stop by and discover something unique for yourself. Gather, share, and enjoy with Buy Right.
Fremont Bank. If there's one thing we understand more than anybody, it's that it takes a local bank to really get the needs of local businesses. Fremont Bank has the flexibility and motivation to service your business loan needs like other banks can't or won't. With our full suite of business loan products and recognition as a top SBA lender in the Bay Area, Fremont Bank is the right choice for local and family-owned businesses. Fremont Bank. Learn more at fremontbank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. Of course I use Mr. Clean Magic Eraser to clean tough messes off my stovetop and bathtub. But then I discovered I can also use it to easily clean my patio furniture and even my shoes. I'm hooked.
And when wipes won't cut it, I use Magic Eraser Sheets. They're thin and flexible erasers, perfect for everyday messes, like gunk on my counters and sinks. They really are magical.
The reviews are in. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser and Sheets make cleaning look easy.
Angie's List is now Angie, and we've heard a lot of theories about why.
I thought it was an eco move. Fewer words, less paper.
No, it was so you could say it faster.
No, it's to be more iconic.
Must be a tech thing. But those aren't quite right. It's because now you can compare upfront prices, book a service instantly, and even get your project handled from start to finish.
Sounds easy.
It is, and it makes us so much more than just a list. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
Attention, guys. By now, you should know that when it comes to meal enhancement pills, most of these contain the same ingredients that are repackaged over and over again. Why take the same old when you can perform in the bedroom with confidence at the highest level? That's why Noxitril needs to be on your bedstand. If you thought that the little blue pill works well, wait till you try Noxitril. It's like Viagra on steroids. Thousands of men each week have switched from that prescription blue pill to Noxitril. That's because Noxitril is automatic. No need to worry anymore. When it's time to perform, we've got this. Explosive results you can count on with no side effects, no stuffy nose. We want every man to try Noxitril, so call now and take advantage of our special free bottle offer today. Oh, and as a reminder, please use the Noxitril dose as directed. It's that strong.
Call right now and get your free supply. Call 800-486-1608. That's 800-486-1608. It's like Viagra on steroids. Improve your sex life with your free supply. Call Call 800-486-1608. That's 1-800-486-1608.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Go to getrbawindows.com for full offer details.
Homeowners, do you know when it's time to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? It's time to replace. Can't see through fog between the glass? Time to replace. Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's definitely time to replace. If you've been putting off replacing windows in your home because it's too expensive, here's great news. You can now get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen, the company with the most 5-star reviews among leading full-service window replacement companies. And this month only, you can buy one and get one 50% off when you purchase 4 units. Just text WINDOW to 323232 right now for your free consultation on top quality affordable windows or even patio doors for $0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for an entire year. That's right, you don't pay a dime for an entire year. Plus buy one and get one 50% off. But hurry, this offer won't last long. Text WINDOW to 323232 right now. Don't go into winter with drafty windows. Text the word WINDOW to 323232. Don't wait. Text WINDOW to 323232.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-200-1966. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-200-1966. That's 800-200-1966 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-200-1966. 800-200-1966.
If you own a business, this has been a bumpy ride. From pandemic to inflation, I'm sure you could use a break. If your business has 5 or more employees and survived COVID, you might be eligible to receive a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. The challenge is getting your hands on it. Hi, I'm Howard Mackler, and that's why I founded GetRefunds.com to cut through the red tape and get you the money. The team of tax attorneys we have put together are highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program. We do all the work, charge not a dime up front, and simply share a percentage of the cash that we get for you. Businesses of all types can qualify, including those that took PPP, nonprofits, and even those that had increases in sales. We have helped return over $1 billion to businesses, and we can help you too. Just go to getrefunds.com/sports, click on Qualify Me, and answer a few questions. This payroll tax refund is only available for a limited period of time. Don't lose out on up to $26,000 per employee. Go to getrefunds.com/sports. That's getrefunds.com/sports. If you own a business, this has been a bumpy ride. From pandemic to inflation, I'm sure you could use a break. If your business has 5 or more employees and survived COVID, you may be eligible to receive a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. The challenge is getting your hands on it. Hi, I'm Howard Mackler, and that's why I founded GetRefunds.com to cut through the red tape and get you the money. The team of tax attorneys we have put together are highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program. We do all the work, charge not a dime up front, and simply share a percentage of the cash that we get for you. Businesses of all types can qualify, including those that took PPP, nonprofits, and even those that had increases in sales. We have helped return over $1 billion to businesses, and we can help you too. Just go to getrefunds.com, click on Qualify Me, and answer a few questions. This payroll tax refund is only available for a limited period of time. Don't lose out on up to $26,000 per employee. Go to getrefunds.com. That's getrefunds.com.
Back to Wiggins, above the break, left side, back rim, no good. Wiseman hustled to it, finds Moody, above the break, right side. That's going to be too strong. Rebound, Wiggins, and the layup is good.
Wiggins. Now back to Warriors Wrap-Up on 95.7 The Game.
John Dickinson back at Chase Center. Nuggets beat the Warriors 128-123. 888-957-9570. Dubs now 1-1. Nuggets also 1-1. Warriors down as many as 20 in this one. Gave up 70 points in the first half and nearly came back from 10 down with 1:14 to go to force overtime. Klay Thompson with a long 3 miss, a shot that wasn't necessarily the best shot in that situation. Also took it a little bit early. Nikola Jokic, a couple of free throws off of that after the Warriors had whittled it all the way down to 1 on a Jordan Poole steal of an inbounds pass for a layup. But the Nuggets had just enough answers down the stretch to hold on for the 128-123 win over the Warriors. Let's get back to the phones before we hear from Steve Kerr, and that gets us to Adam in San Francisco. Adam on 95.7 The Game. You're on Warriors Wrap-Up. What's going on tonight, Adam?
Just coming back from the game. I've been to the first two, and kind of a big difference, obviously, in the plays. Obviously, the team we're playing, the Lakers, obviously, from last night and what we played, are just not a very good team, and the Nuggets are a good team. I think them not having Jamal Murray out there tonight helped them, and I think because he is maybe a bit more of a liability defensively. We kind of saw that against the Utah game, and tonight, I can't believe Bruce Brown made as many shots as he did. I know he's a good defender, but they just didn't miss. But I also just think it's also game 2. We know that, this is a long season, everything like that. But early on, though, it's just the effort just wasn't there tonight.
Thanks for the call, Adam. I'm with you on Jamal Murray. I thought Jamal Murray's still trying to find himself, and he was in that game. I watched a little of that game when the Nuggets played Utah. He's trying to find himself. He's on a minutes restriction. They're trying to get him reacclimated, but they've got the rest of these pieces that all seem to fit together pretty well. And look, they have to get Jamal Murray back and playing at a high level if they want to be the best version of themselves. But yeah, he's more attackable, and I think he's just a little bit more unsure and inconsistent in the way that you would expect a player that hadn't played in 18 months to be. And so, yeah, I thought when he was ruled out that you knew the Nuggets were going to bounce back and play a lot harder and with a more purpose than they did the other night, just wanting to try to get to 1-1 and knowing that they would have to play a lot better to even have a chance to win the game against the Warriors. And they really came out, and it was a buttoned-up Nuggets performance, especially on the offensive end, and the Warriors just didn't bring it at all defensively tonight, and those two things added up to the Nuggets getting the 40 in the first quarter and 70 in the first half and 128 for the night. Ted in Livermore, you're next here on 95.7 The Game. What's going on, Ted?
Hey, howdy. So I this might be a little controversial, but I just think Steve Kerr sometimes, many times actually, is the reason that the Warriors lose ball games. Because he's demonstrated, or it's been demonstrated, that he doesn't do anything special to make them win ball games. Luke Walton proved that when Kerr was out for a half a season, and they won almost all their games with Luke Walton. But the way he substitutes or doesn't substitute, tonight was reminiscent of the COVID year where they were chasing a playoff spot, and he, quote unquote, did not want to chase wins, gave up so many wins where they sunk down to the 8th or 9th seed and got bounced in a play-in game when they could have really made a good run that year with the team they had was built to make an underdog run, and he just gave up on them because he let every other coach predict or know when he was going to play Curry and Draymond by substituting him the same minutes every single game. And tonight was sort of the same. DiVincenzo played about 5 to 6, 7 more minutes than he should have, and they lost the game in the second quarter because he did not want to play his starters more than he did.
Yeah, you said it, and thanks for the call. He doesn't want to. He's not going to play Steph Curry 43 minutes in Game 2 of the season to try and eke out a win against the Nuggets. And there is a balancing act. There's no doubt there's a balancing act, and you referenced the COVID year where they let some games get away and ultimately ended up as the 8th seed and had to play a couple of play-in tournament games and got beat, when maybe if they had been able to chase a few more wins earlier in the year and finish a few more games, they could have avoided that or put themselves in a better position. Look, I'm not coming down Steve Kerr's road for the first part of that, though, and when you say not doing much to help them win, the guy's won 4 NBA championships as a head coach, and you can see it, and you just saw it in the playoffs. The fact that the postseason's different. The playoffs are different than the regular season. In the playoffs, you do shorten your rotation. In the playoffs, you do go back to your starters. In the playoffs, you do need to do those things. In the regular season, there are a number of different goals that you're trying to accomplish, and part of that for this team specifically is playing your bench guys and trying to grow a bench unit that's figuring it out, and young players that probably aren't at this stage ready to be playoff performers on a regular basis. If the playoffs started today, and it's kind of silly to say, but if the playoffs started today, Jonathan Kuminga and James Wiseman wouldn't be playing much, if at all, in the playoffs. And I said that a week or so ago on the Steiny Guru show when I was filling in for Guru, and people came down my road something fierce, like, what the hell are you talking about? And so, yeah, you could say DiVincenzo should have played less. Well, he only played 9 minutes, and Steve Kerr went away from him in the second half. So you can't only play your starters. You can't only play 7 in the regular season, especially in game 2 of the regular season as well. So it's a balancing act, and I get it. When you lose by 5 and it winds up being a close game and you're down 1 in the closing seconds, you start thinking about, well, another minute here, another minute there, and maybe there's a different outcome. 415 on the Xfinity Mobile text line. Minutes restrictions cost him the game. If Clay and Draymond play 5 more minutes each, they win. You could make that case. Yeah, you absolutely could make that case. And come the playoffs, Clay might be playing 10 more minutes, and Draymond might be playing 10 more minutes each, and they're able to continue that run or maybe start their run a little quicker. And the Nuggets, the one thing I will say, they were hanging on for dear life when the Warriors started hitting some shots and putting a little bit more defensive pressure on them. They look like a team that was willing and able to gift the Warriors that victory, but the Warriors just couldn't quite do enough defensively ultimately to take it. And so Denver walks out of here with that win. But it's without question going to be a balancing act as the Warriors try to figure out the bench rotation and figure out who's going to play with who and which combinations don't work well together and how can Wiseman be more effective. Jordan Poole tonight on that note, and I mentioned the fact that I did think Michael Malone tried to take Jordan Poole more out of the game with the way that the Nuggets defended him. But you look at it, Jordan Poole took 5 shots tonight. How many Warriors players took as many or more shots than Jordan Poole? Everybody that played in the game except Kevon Looney and Dante DiVincenzo. Everybody in the game took at least 5 shots except for those 2 players. And Jordan Poole on Draymond Green took 6 shots. Jordan Poole took 5 shots. JaMychal Green took 5 shots. James Wiseman took 5 shots. 4 for 5. He's finishing well around the basket, and they hit him for another lob, and he hit a little shorty in the paint there too. So Wiseman is at a point right now where the defense not great for James Wiseman in this one tonight. But he took 5 shots to make the point about Jordan Poole. Hell, Moses Moody didn't even play in the first half, was out of the rotation in the first half, became the 11th man that played in the second half when Kuminga took a seat, and he took 5 shots in his 13 minutes. Jordan Poole 5 shots in 27 minutes. So I think there's a balancing act for Jordan Poole as to how he can be the most effective while playing with a group that's also a little bit trying to get theirs some of the time. And it's not only about developing those players and making them comfortable, but it's how does Poole succeed when Poole's out there with them and not just when he's out there with the starters. So 888-957-9570. John Dickinson right here on 95.7 The Game at 11 o'clock.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco. Always live on Twitch, YouTube, and the free Odyssey app.
And live on Twitch and YouTube as well here tonight on Warriors Wrap Up. Warriors Live and Warriors Wrap Up on Twitch and YouTube. So happy about that. You get to see my ugly mug as I'm doing the show here from Chase Center on a Friday night. Let's go ahead and hear from the head coach of the Warriors, Steve Kerr. Hope to hear from Draymond Green as well between now and when we call it a night. But Steve Kerr there on the legal ID. Here's the head coach of the Dubs following this loss to the Nuggets.
Steve, all of your starters were positive in the plus minus, and all of your reserves, I guess, except for Moses, were double digit in the minus. Is that to you kind of the story of the game, or were there some other things that you more point out?
No, I think the story of the game is just our lack of defensive intensity from the start. You know, they scored 40 points in the first quarter, and so they got into such a great rhythm, and they were clearly the aggressors. We expected them to come out and play like this because of their loss, in Utah a couple nights ago. So I thought they just came out with way more force than we did and set the tone. And then at that point, it's tough playing upstream against a great team. And I loved our effort in the second half. I thought our guys competed and gave ourselves a chance. And it was just, too much to overcome after, falling behind by 20. The second unit stuff, that's going to all shake out here over the next few weeks. Like, we don't have a set rotation yet. We're trying a lot of different people, and it's affected also by the minutes of restriction for Clay and Draymond. So that's going to take a little while to sort out. But I thought the effort overall in the second half was what was lacking in the first, and that's what was what put us in trouble tonight.
Was that a design pick and pop three for Clay and kind of on that last possession? And then, I guess, did you like the shot?
It was, it was just like a little hit and handbag type play. And, you're just trying to confuse the defense and maybe get a mix up on a switch. And at that point, if you have an open three, down three, no timeouts left, you go ahead and take, especially Clay. I mean, he's hit that shot many times. So it was, I'll take a look at the film. It was a decent look under the circumstances. Maybe not the best one, but one I'll definitely live with. Klay Thompson shooting an open three, albeit pretty deep.
Steve, what did you get from Draymond tonight?
I thought Draymond was fantastic. Energy was great. Played so hard, pushed the ball, 9 assists. His defense was really on point. So great effort from him. And like I said, we got a lot of really good individual efforts in the second half. Once we fell behind, our guys showed how competitive they are. And, this was kind of a good game for us, to be honest with you. I feel like we got over a little bit of a hump conditioning-wise. We hadn't played a game like this yet. We needed to bump guys up and get them into high minutes, and not just the total minutes, but the type of minutes they were. That was a physical, high-intensity game. So we needed that. I think we'll be better for it going forward.
Jordan only took 5 shots, I think, and did have 7 assists. But was that maybe one time where the defense was playing him because he's now has credibility in this league? Did you see maybe some defensive attention on him? Yeah, no doubt. I mean, they were putting a lot of pressure on him on pick and roll. Denver did a really good job, in this offseason, adding Bruce Brown and KCP, 2 big physical defenders in the backcourt. I thought they did a good job on Jordan. And, with our second unit, we're still in the midst of sort of finding an identity with that group, and that'll help Jordan. But in the meantime, he's going to have a target on his back. That's what happens when you get really good and, win a championship and play like he did in the playoffs and sign a big contract. This is how it works. So we'll try to help him, and we'll start finding an identity with that second unit, and he'll be playing with both groups, and he'll be fine.
One of the things you seem to be trying to sort out with that second unit is you want Kuminga at the 3 in the first half, replaced him with Moody in the second half. Is that maybe the pivot point right now with that second you're trying to figure out most?
Yeah, I mean, I think that group played it pretty well together in the preseason with J.K. and Jamichael and James, and so we wanted to give it a look. I felt like at halftime, I think our coaches felt like we just needed more spacing with that group, so we went to Moses instead of J.K. And Moses came in, did a really good job. So again, we're going to be looking at different combinations and trying different things, and of course, we're not always going to be perfectly healthy. So guys are going to get their opportunities, but we've got to find our identity as a team with that second group.
Steve James from Sky New Zealand. Just a question about Nikola Jokic. Do you think is defending against a 7-foot point guard your kryptonite? And what can teams do about that?
He's everybody's kryptonite. I mean, or I guess, is that the right analogy? I don't know. He's two-time MVP for a reason. I mean, the guy's a phenomenal player, and he just makes the game so much easier on his teammates. And they've done a really good job in Denver the last few years, building their roster, building an identity. And so, yeah, Jokic is Jokic. I don't know of any other team that gives them a hard time. So,
hey Steve, with about 2 minutes left, Steph inbounded the ball to Draymond. He was in the corner, and you had some, better shooters on the floor. Were you happy with that play call? Or do you feel like something better could have been done there?
Which one was it? Full court or half court?
It was like down. It was like down at the Nuggets. Sorry. Yeah.
It was like a shot clock. Yeah.
There's about like one seconds left.
1.5 seconds. It's a little tough, but we look for a couple things out of that set. Draymond got a decent look. It was close, so you live with that.
All right, so Steve Kerr there echoing a lot of what we've been talking about here over the course of the last hour with respect to the defense just setting a bad tone for the Warriors early in this one, and then they couldn't overcome it. Like in the second half effort, that's one thing we haven't really talked about. I think that the point about the competitive spirit of the Warriors is a good one. Once they got down 20, it was like, all right, we don't want this thing to turn into a blowout. They're able to come back, although not enough. And then one thing that he said that really stood out to me was something that was the case last year and has been the case a lot at different times early in seasons, and it's the fact that it just takes teams, and the Warriors more specifically, more time to figure out their rotation and more time to figure out who's going to be in and who's going to be out and the right combinations. And Steve Kerr is a tinkerer when it comes to that. He tinkered last year. It was 5 or 6 games of this group, and then they'd work on some things clearly in practice, and they'd team some other groups together, and this guy's in and that guy's out, and then injuries impact it, as he alluded to, and now the minutes restriction, which we had a texter on the Xfinity mobile text line bring up, that impacts it to where you have to take certain players out at certain times in order to not play them more than their minutes cap on a particular night. So you have to figure that all out, and it becomes a puzzle that at times can maybe not put you in the best position to always win games or the best position for certain groups to succeed. Draymond Green was someone that we didn't talk about as much as well, but he, real good tonight in his 27 minutes. They could have used a little more Draymond in this one tonight. 13 points, rare the Warriors lose when he gives up 13, and really to boil it down, as we've talked so much about the defense and we've talked so much about the first half and the poor bench play with minus 20 and 10 and minus 10, minus 14, minus 13 across everybody except for Moody who came off the bench, the starters won their matchups tonight. All told, once that final run for the Warriors to come back late, every Warriors starter was a plus in this game. Every Nuggets starter was a minus in this game. So the Warriors starters won their matchup, but the Warriors bench lost theirs so badly. And you look at 38-33 is the bench scoring in this one, but that ends up being the difference in the ball game. Was Denver winning this thing 128 to 123. 888-957-9570. Let's go ahead and hear from Draymond Green before we call it a night and head on into the weekend here. Draymond Green addressing what went wrong for the Warriors tonight against the Nuggets.
Dre, Steve said he loved your energy tonight and thought you played really well. How would you assess your game? And do you think those early fouls kind of took some of the wind out of the sails for you guys defensively?
I think we didn't start off with a strong defensive presence. I think 5 minutes into the game, they had 20 points. And so that's on me. Whether I was out there or not, we were awful defensively. We have to set a tone on that side of the floor. And like I said, that starts with me. So I can be better on that end. Obviously, we know we can all be better on that end. And, it'll all come together. I think, when you get the early fouls, it definitely takes away some aggressiveness. A couple of chances you may take that can change the flow of a game, can't necessarily take those. And so I have to be better with that, not picking up early fouls so I can have the aggressiveness and set a tone on that end and everyone can follow. So we'll be better, but, second game of the season, so we're still figuring it out.
Draymond, as you and Clay work your way back up to full minutes, what's your kind of take on how that second unit rotation is shaking out right now? Of course, it's early, but what are your early thoughts?
They're figuring it out. You're talking guys who's been, two guys in that lineup has been teammates with the rest of the guys for 3 weeks, something to that nature, 4 weeks. So, it takes time for everything to come together. And quite frankly, second game of the season, you're still figuring out rotations, what rotations work great together and which ones don't, and what scenarios, which rotations you can go to. So they had a rough night tonight. Figure it out. They have been great all preseason. And so not worried about it. As they continue to go, they'll get better and better. Be fine.
There was a moment where James fouled Bones Highland. He was kind of trying to go vertical, but failed, I guess. And you were talking to him about it. What kind of point were you trying to make with James on that, verticality?
Just telling him a guy his size, lateral movement is irrelevant. So you're trying to slide with these guards. You don't need to slide with them. Move back and forth, up and back. You move up and back. It allows him to use his strength, which is his size. But anytime as a big, you're trying to get into sliding with a guard, Bones is shifty as hell. Bones is tough for anybody to guard one-on-one, just with his shiftiness. So just telling them, use your length, but the way you can use that length is going up and back, not side to side. Side to side, then you start turning your body and all of those things because you're trying to keep up the speed of these guards and the trickiness. And so just some different things that he'll continue to pick up as he go. But overall, I think he's doing an incredible job. He's continuing to grow and get better, starting to use his voice more and more. But quite frankly, I think this is 35th NBA game, something like that. So he'll keep getting that experience. And, it's on myself and Loon to make sure we continue to help him and teach him.
Dre, where do you think you guys are defensively, and what do you think the ceiling is from the amount of time you've been able to see what you guys are working with defensively?
Well, I think we know what the ceiling is. We know how great we can be defensively. Where we are right now, I think we're a team in the second game of the season. Still figuring it out on that end. I think as you get in, as everyone get in better shape, you pick it up more on that end. But I think you have to figure out an identity on defense just like you do on offense, and that takes time. Are you going to be a ball pressure team? Are you going to be a passing lanes team? Our defense will be great. I have no doubt in my mind about that. But it takes time to put it all together. So, that's learning to follow a game plan. That's learning personnel, and all of these different things that goes into it. So I don't have a doubt that we will be great on that end of the floor. But just like everything else, it all has to come together.
As a follow-up, you had there was a one play, Jokic posted you up, you blocked him. Next play, he hits that crazy rainbow. Just what is that, still going against Jokic, still being able to battle against the two-time MVP?
I feel like we just finished battling him yesterday. But in saying that, that's a battle I always love. You as a defender, you want to play against the best. He's obviously won MVP the last couple of years. We all know how incredible
of a player that he is. And so when that challenge is thrown at me, I embrace it and I take on. At times, you get the blocks or steal or stop. And a lot of other times he's going to make shots like he did on the second one, and quite frankly, I live with those. He's great for a reason. He's the MVP for a reason. You just try to make him take the toughest shot you can make him take and live with it. I think, I don't want to foul there. I haven't really gotten a chance to see the play yet, but I was whistled for a foul. So when the guy is taking a tough shot like that, although we know he's proven over and over, time and time again, that he can make it, still got to live with something. That's a tough one. I can't foul on that one. So other than that, thought it was pretty good defense, but at times better offense going to be good defense. And that's what happened on that play.
Very much. Steve seemed encouraged about everybody's fitness level, but you pushing to some more minutes, and Clay, I mean, what was your sense on just where you both are and gaining strength each game and pushing a few more minutes?
Well, I think I'm in pretty good shape, but I've built a trust in our performance staff led by Rick, and that's what he recommended, so as frustrating as it can be at times, I came back last year 9 weeks from what could have been a season-ending injury, and he got me back in 9 weeks. So as frustrating as it can be, I'm not going to stop trusting him now. He's proven time and time again that he is a trustworthy guy, that he is a very knowledgeable guy, and that the performance staff, they know what they're doing. And so I think I'm in pretty good shape, all things considered, where we are in the season. But like I said, that's not something that I'm going to fight. Rick is top of the top at what he does. So to sit there and question him or, try to bump my own minutes up to what I think I can play, they'll be up soon enough. So just stick with the game plan they lay out and it'll get there.
Draymond, what did you kind of see? There was like that crazy play or sequence toward the end where Jordan Poole lays it in. You guys are within one, and then Jokic passes it nearly full court for the dunk. Were you guys just kind of caught sleeping there, or kind of what did you see, or what would you have liked to have seen differently with that?
Well, I think on that particular play, we have to make sure that we identify who's going to be back. Obviously, normally it's the 5-man back, but I was at the 5 and I was trapping, and so that's a very unfamiliar position for our guards. Guards don't protect the basket. That's not their role. And so that's something that I could have communicated. I should have communicated that, we got to make sure that we have a man back, and that's something that we can learn from. But overall, I thought, we were able to work on some pretty important things. When you're trying to get a trap and a steal before you foul, we were successful with that. Me and Wiggs came up with a great trap. Jordan came over with a great steal and finish. The second part is just things that we'll figure out. If you got a guy back and we have 4 guards in, we got to make sure, somebody has to identify, all right, nobody's protecting the rim and we got to get back. But that's on nobody in particular. Just something that we'll identify and make sure that we improve.
Draymond, sorry if you've already been asked this, but given the drama at practice in the preseason, how have you bounced back personally and as a team?
We're a very resilient team. We're going to continue to move forward, continue to get better. This team has had one goal for the last 8-9 years, and that goal remains the same. There are ups and downs throughout the season, and you fight to get through those. And the team that gets through those peaks and valleys the best, the team that can try to stay most consistent, that is usually the team that wins the championship. And that's what we're trying to be. That's never going to be built in a day. So we'll continue to work, continue to get better and improve on the things that we know we need to improve upon to be a great team, but we got the blueprint. We know what it takes to win and be a successful team in this league. And, but it takes time to put that together, and you can't skip steps. It is a day-by-day process. Regardless of what happens, you have to improve day by day. And I have no doubt in my mind that we will continue to improve day by day, and our focus is on winning the championship, as it has been, like I said, for the last 8-9 years.
And the Warriors' opportunity to improve day by day will continue tomorrow with practice, and a quick turn for the Dubs as they're back in action on Sunday, again here at Chase Center before their first road game of the season. They'll be in Phoenix on Tuesday, but the Sacramento Kings coming in on Sunday. And that's the next opportunity for the Warriors to bounce back and get back to their winning ways against a team that believes that they can be a young up-and-coming team in the Western Conference this season. Old friend Mike Brown back in the house for the Kings against the Warriors on Sunday afternoon. So that'll do it for me tonight. Nuggets get the win over the Warriors, 128-123, thanks to Sterling Bennett. Thanks to everybody else in our San Francisco studios for helping to put this show together, cutting all the highlights tonight that you've heard throughout the show and the post-game sound. Appreciate the help of everybody. I'm John Dickinson. I'll be back on Sunday here on 95.7 The Game, 4:30 with Warriors Live as the Warriors take on those Sacramento Kings. And back tomorrow, quick turnaround for me, 10 a.m., the debut, 2022-23 debut of Warriors This Week. Whitey Gleason will be joining me, and we're going to be on the air from 10 to 1 and tomorrow, talking all things Golden State Warriors, these first two games, and everything surrounding the Warriors as they try to defend their title. So make sure you tune in for that tomorrow, 10 a.m., right here on 95.7 The Game. Nuggets beat the Warriors 128-123. We'll talk to you tomorrow. We'll talk to you on Sunday right here in your home for Warriors basketball, 95.7 The Game. Good night.
Finding the right Medicare plan? Oof, no easy feat. Kind of like those dances my granddaughter loves making me do. But then I found Walgreens FindRx coverage. Lets you compare plans online, over the phone, or in person. Made Medicare shopping so easy. Plus, I found plans with low-cost copays. I can get down with that.